I guess we just never had you be the one to invite him in. He only listens to me. All right. Digital servants aside, hello. Welcome to today's episode of Juice in the Numbers, your statistics and sports podcast. I am your host, Joshua Tracy.
And I'm Corwin Heller.
And
also, sup, Craig.
Yeah, fuck you, Craig. It's a little after 9 p.m. here on the East Coast, March 7th. It's a Saturday. Ain't fucking nothing going on. We're going to find some shit to squeeze out of this week to discuss. You ready, Corwin?
I am ready. So,
coronavirus is sweeping the nation. And the world, technically. Kinda. First, before we get into the sports side of this, are you concerned?
Not terribly. My new boss is currently vacationing in Italy, so that's kind of a concern, but actual concern for the state of humanity and our country from the threat of coronavirus, not so much.
Yo, you would think that the CDC announced that AIDS became airborne the way that they're treating this.
It's one of those things where yes, we shouldn't blow it off because it does have long-lasting effects on both, the global people's the general state of global immunization and the future of diseases like this. But at the same time, you're right. It should not be treated like this is a pandemic.
And yet, it certainly is. And that brings us to the sports side of this. So a few different things have been happening, or at least been discussed across a few different leagues. So the NFL isn't currently in season, so they don't factor into this. So let's start with baseball, which has already made a slight modifications, at least most teams have. So typically spring training, which is where baseball currently is in its season, has a lot of player-fan interaction because, stadiums are smaller, so attendance is more sparse, and it's a lot more intimate of a setting because the stadiums are just smaller. And so players typically get a lot of time and opportunity to interact with fans in a physical sense, like signing baseballs, hand-to-hand contact, taking pictures, stuff like that. So what a lot of teams are doing now to really limit that interaction is what they're doing instead of having players go off to the stands before games is they'll have players sign baseballs and paraphernalia in the locker room in advance of the game and then just carry that out of the tunnel with them and then flip it to fans in the stadium before they start playing in an attempt to just limit the amount of contact they have with fans and thus possible exposure to any nasty illnesses.
Yes.
Okay. Right.
I don't dislike it. I have nothing against it. Good on them for seeing this as being a major problem, a major part of the game, and finding a good compromise. Good on them.
Yeah. This is one of those things where it's it probably makes the most sense out of any single industry to have athletes be the most cautious. Because if your favorite band all get coronavirus, all right, that's one band. They're going to cancel a tour probably. And they'll just reschedule a new one eventually if they don't die, which they shouldn't. But it's inconvenient for one single tour, and everyone's still making money on streaming and stuff, and if I don't know, if your favorite restaurant gets a coronavirus outbreak, it's bad for the restaurant, of course, but for you, the consumer, doesn't matter that much. You're still gonna make other money. The restaurant's kind of dicked a little bit, but if you can just get everything cleaned up and get the inspector in, you'll probably be open within a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
If the Yankees, all the Yankees got coronavirus, especially in spring training where everyone on the 40-man and beyond is there, you're fucked. You're fucked. You can't play a game.
$100 million at least, business just this year failing.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's not even like imagine if everyone who would have gone to Yankee Stadium for a few games, whoever that might have been, got sick and no one went to Yankee Stadium. That would suck for the Yankees because they make nothing at the gate. But they still have like, streaming and distribution, which is where most of their money comes from anyway. So they'll be upset, but like they'll get over it. But if the Yankees themselves, or pick a fucking baseball team, doesn't matter, all went down, they can't even stream the games. They can't play the games. So now they're losing money at the gate. They're gonna have to refund everyone their money. They're losing money on distribution because there's nothing to distribute, and they're probably forfeiting games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the ultimate loss.
How do you think the MLB would handle something like that? Like,
I think they would have
is
to.
this just a lost season, or
I was gonna say I think they'd have to shorten the season and just pick it up a few weeks to months later. Like, if there was an outbreak amongst MLB players, I think the best solution would be delay the start of the season until, I don't know, earliest late April, maybe beginning of May.
Man,
just miss a month. Like, if you're willing to shorten a season because of a strike, which is a viable reason to shorten a season, you should have the same wherewithal now. Because again, it's spring training, which means the entirety of every team's roster is there pretty much, barring a few injured players and a few other people. Like, they're all there. Everyone you would possibly even consider thinking about maybe bringing up is now also down. Like, it's untenable.
God, I want to know. Like, obviously, we can't know these numbers because we don't have the insider information to see what MLB teams are making based off of this kind of stuff, what the league is making off of this kind of stuff. But how much money do you think would be lost, estimated, if the season was shortened to late April, and if they just canceled this season?
I'm going to say $2 billion.
I don't know how to feel about that number. It's
because here's the thing. I think that's a high number. But the reason I'm going with a high number is because it's not just like a team or two. Think all 30 teams, all of them are losing money every day on it then. And MLB as a whole is losing money on it. Like everyone loses money. So whatever you're thinking of a loss, you're gonna have to multiply it by 30, if not more.
Oh, God, like, again, like $2 billion. That sounds high. That could also be.
It could be low.
Yeah, we have no idea, and like, usually we're pretty decent at guessing these kind of things. Where are we even going to start with this? Like, how is anyone who's not an insider with MLB or with one of these teams even going to be able to comprehend this? I mean, I'm sure there's some actual smart people in finance that would be able to piece this stuff together given the time.
Honestly, I'm not even.
It's just crazy to think how much could be just decimating this sport over the course of the next couple of weeks if one player gets sick.
I know, because the thing is, like, all right, so let's say you're the Padres, just to pick a different team. And every Padre gets sick. All right, so now you have to refund every ticket for at least the first month of the season, because everyone's going to call and complain. You have to deal with your season ticket holders. How on earth do you handle that? You're probably also going to have to, in addition to refunding all that money, you're probably going to have to also give out things, like here's free playoff tickets or some shit, because like, not that the Padres ever go to the playoffs, but like here, some type of other compensation. I would imagine if you want to be upfront about it, I'm sure there's crazy amounts of, like, I bet you that every flight and hotel is already booked for the Padres for the first month of the season as of right now. How on earth are you going to handle that? Like it's so everything about sports and baseball, because baseball has such a high volume of games, is so meticulously planned that I don't even know how you would begin to think about these financials. Like it would be ridiculous.
I don't
What
want this to happen, but if it does happen, that will be, I don't want to say a lot of fun, but it will be extremely interesting to follow.
Oh, it would be fucking fascinating. What do you think would be a bigger debacle for the MLB? A coronavirus outbreak or this recent Astro scandal?
Um, I think the Astro scandal, because there's a lot of hate being pointed at the Astros for it, and at MLB for handling it. I don't think anyone could get upset at people getting sick with a disease that is getting everyone sick.
That's actually a
You
great
know,
point. Yeah. No, you're
like,
totally right.
how are you going to get upset at Garrett Cole for getting the fucking flu? Um, I'm sure there will be plenty of Yankee fans and plenty of baseball fans who are outraged by the MLB for not stopping this, but get over it.
So, a more extreme proposition
Mhm.
was put forward by the NBA recently, where they are currently considering playing games with no fans in the stands. Um, which I don't even know where to begin with that. What do you what what do you think that would be like?
I think it would be essentially the same watching it in TV on TV. Um, like,
Do you think it
yeah,
would
the
be?
shots are gonna look different. Yeah, it's gonna sound different because you won't have that kind of just background noise, but I don't think it's gonna affect the game all that much. It's really just gonna affect the fans going to see the games.
I I I wonder if it would have affect the games though, because all right, I'm not saying that players like really care how hard you cheer, but I
Mhm.
have to imagine that like a quiet, dead stadium brings with it
Ooh,
a certain weird emotion towards the
yeah.
players,
Oh
like
my god, I didn't even think about that. Like, they're so used
imagine
to playing in these stadiums that are just so loud and just so
yeah,
intense, and now
imagine
it's nothing.
imagine you're Ben Simmons
Oh,
and you throw a three-pointer and no one boos. Like how weird must that feel for him?
man, I don't know.
But like for real though, imagine you're LeBron James. You're like the world's most competitive person in basketball, and you like fucking dunk the ball, right? That's the thing basketball players do. They do the dunks,
Yes.
and no one cheers. It's dead fucking silent outside of the sound of your own teammates clapping. Like
I'm s
that'd
I'm
be
sure there's
crazy.
some sorry, go ahead.
That's it. That's it.
I'm sure there's some players that can compartmentalize it and just completely shut it out, and they don't even notice, but there's gotta be some that are just gonna be just frazzled by this. Ooh.
Right?
This again, that I don't necessarily want this to happen, but fuck me up. That sounds super cool to see.
I can't. I can't even picture what that would be like, because also it just goes so against the personality of basketball. So much of the personality, at least in my eyes, of basketball is like the demonstrative nature of it. You
Mhm.
know, it is the showboating a little bit. Not even a little bit. Because that feels like I'm hedging. I think it's a lot about the showboating. Oh, it's basketball so much about the personality. But like, how are you gonna like, shoot a big time 3-pointer and then like strut your shit afterwards, like do a shimmy or some shit like your Steph Curry to empty seats? Like
Mhm.
I'm sure Steph Curry doesn't care that much if like you listening, you piece of shit. I don't think he cares if you're there, but I think he would care if there was no one there.
Damn. I mean, I don't. Did you watch the game that the Orioles played when they had an empty stadium because of the Baltimore riots?
I watched the highlights of it because it was hilarious, but I didn't actually watch the game.
I don't remember watching it. I remember seeing those highlights, like you said. I don't remember watching it. I wonder if we could go back. I'm sure we can't do it right now, but if we could go back and find what players had to say about it at the time, what it was like.
I do remember it's so different though because it was only I think just the one game, and I remember like the commentators are having fun with it. They were calling it like it was a golf game, you know. But like part of the reality is if you're a commentator, you know, like you're a play-by-play dude, either for radio or TV, and you know you're calling the game, you are inherently one of the three loudest voices at the stadium because you're the only ones there. You're the only people in the seats. That's it.
I looked this game up. It happened in 2015, White Sox versus the Orioles. First off, it doesn't feel like this was.
I was gonna say, holy shit,
5 years
5
ago.
years ago? Oh my god!
We're old.
Wow.
I'm a very old 22-year-old. God, the Orioles won 8-2, which that seems.
I'm surprised I didn't know what that is.
Yeah, right. Apparently it was surreal. That's the summary that Wikipedia gives. White Sox outfielder Adam Eaton attributed his team's loss to the effect of not having the crowd noise. I forgot he played for the White Sox.
Yes.
Wow.
And again, that's a
These
game
guys were like
a single game that they like knew in advance was going to not be sold tickets for. And it was still weird. Imagine that for a whole like I don't know how many games left in the NBA. 20? Like that's weird.
I've never been to any game without anyone else in attendance. I've never played in any match without anyone in attendance. Actually, no, I've had swim meets in the past where like there was no one there other than like the people on the team. And granted, it was a, high school level swim meet with, extremely limited amount of, I guess, stress put on. Like it wasn't exactly a major league baseball game, so I doubt it was in our heads to begin with. But I don't remember it being a big factor. But when there's usually 40,000 people there, and now there's two guys in a booth just talking, that's.
Would you leave or would you stay? If you were the only person at the stadium.
Oh my god, I would say. Why would I leave? That's like the best way to watch a baseball game if no one else is there.
You know it would be great to do at an empty ballpark?
What?
Heckle.
Oh god. Only if you're really good at it though. Like if you're a bad heckler and everyone knows you're the bad heckler, that could get ugly.
Hey Martinez! Man,
just imagine being like some superstar heckler just going to town on these guys just like 5 feet away. Or even if like you're in like the upper deck just shouting.
No, I'm sorry. There's no way that if you're in the upper deck, they don't let you come down if you are the only person in the fucking stadium.
Oh, sir, can I see your ticket? Sorry. Your ticket's up for the second level. You should take the elevators behind you.
Yo, I still can't get over the fucking Blue Jays game I went to where they fucking did that shit to me. It was stupid as fuck. Hey, Toronto Blue Jays, if you listen to this, fuck you. Stadium's trash.
Preach.
So the NHL is considering no longer allowing temporarily media to go into the locker room for quotes and other media purposes.
Yeah, I'm all on board with that. I mean, I feel like sure it should be the media's right to go about and do that. Of course it is. They should be able to talk to the teams. But come on, like it's not necessary for them to be in there. Of course, the safety of the players comes first. I don't see that as being a huge issue for anyone.
I think that they should put the media behind a display case and make them all stand together in a small corner behind plexiglass and ask questions one at a time.
100% for it.
Yeah, fuck the media. Be honest with me, Corwin.
Yeah, usually am.
How many out of every single sport that you watch, out of all the games you watch in a year, in a full calendar year,
Yeah.
how many post game shows do you watch?
Ooh. One. Maybe 3 or 4. I'll watch after the Super Bowl, after the NC college football playoff championship game, Penn State's bowl game, and like either the Big Ten championship if Penn State's in it, or like the Ohio State game. But 5 out of well over 100 that I watch is not great.
Yeah, I'll say first off, my number is 0. I never watch post game shows. I have no
Really?
patience for it. I do not give a fuck. I don't care to hear, as bad as it sounds, I don't care to hear what the players have to say most of the time. And honestly, if they say anything that important, I'll see it on like Reddit or Twitter later.
Yeah,
Like,
so true.
I don't give a shit. I don't care. Especially because like most of the times, and I'm not saying players are wrong for doing this, but their answers are boring as shit. Most of the time it's like, Verlander, how'd you feel about your curveball command today? Well,
Good on
I was working on some things out there. I thought I had a few good ones, thought I had a few bad ones. I'm just trying to get it better. Make sure I'm ready for the playoffs. I'd like to thank God. He's really great. My wife's awesome. And it's like, oh, that's fucking super cool, bro. Didn't think you were gonna say that. I don't give a shit about you or your fucking life. I'm just looking at a sweaty man lying. I don't care. So this doesn't affect me at all, and in fact, maybe the world is better for it.
That's hilarious. I love that you actually tapped on the mic. One of the funnier things you've done in a while, and I appreciate you for that. Yeah, I mean, I'll watch the big games because usually it's more emotional and it's cool to see the guy get the MVP trophy and hosting the Stanley Cup or stuff like that. I do watch the Stanley Cup presentation too.
Oh,
That's
I mean,
always super special.
I don't know how you don't watch it. Like it's one of the best. Oh, it might be the best like championship thing in sports.
I
Trophy thing.
used to think it was hoisting of the crystal ball for the college football national championship just because it's so cool watching people lift a crystal football. But once I got into hockey, it's no question.
I mean, it just feels so special.
And it is. And then who won it last year? Was that the Capitals or was that the year before?
The Blues just
won
won, and then before that was the Capitals.
Yeah, 2 years ago, some lady showed her tits, so
super nice. Loved it. Loved every second
about that.
Yeah, I mean, seeing Alex Ovechkin raise it a couple years ago was like heartwarming as fuck.
I wouldn't call it heartwarming as a Pens fan, but it was definitely a huge moment in the history of the sport that you just have to respect and appreciate.
I don't know. I'm a Rangers fan, and no skater has scored more goals on Henrik Lundqvist than Alex Ovechkin, and I kind of hate him for that. But still, fuck, man.
Yeah,
he deserved it.
He is the face of the biggest rival in the Pens during my fanship, but it's still Alex Ovechkin. It's still a huge moment for him. I just don't have to love that he won it, but I appreciate that he won it.
Fair enough. What would if you were the head of any of the sports leagues, you are either like the I don't know, owner, GM of the team, which whoever gets to make those decisions,
Mhm.
or the commissioner of a league, what would your precautions be against coronavirus?
Um, man, I'd probably shut down like the media in the locker room thing. Just all those guys shoving cameras with dirty pop filters on it, just right in the guy's face. I'd get rid of the rope line stuff like baseball did, just because that's a lot of uncontrolled fans that you don't know what's going on with that. Um, I'd probably cut out the sharing of water bottles. Like, you'll have the assistants and the trainers out there with these caddies of water bottles that they just pass around to all the players. Got to cut that out. Just, little things. All right, everybody wash your hands between every meeting and before and after practice or before interacting with people. Just common sense stuff. It's not like we got to have everybody wear masks. It's not like we got to quarantine the team. Like at the end of the day, it's still just a less controlled strain of the flu. I mean, everybody on the team is going to have good immune systems. They're all healthy in some of the best shapes of, anyone around them. So I don't think it's got to go over the top, but just basic common sense precautionary stuff.
Very sensible answer, Corwin. Very fair.
Thanks, yo.
I would assign everyone a Purell pal, and and that's the guy that has to. He carries around your bottle of Purell, and you carry around his bottle of Purell. And anytime you think he needs to Purell his hands, you go, what should we call it? I don't know.
Hey, dude, squirt me.
Squirt sesh. And yo, bro, you got to take a squirt sesh after that. Like you just touched that railing, and then he has to extend his hands, and you have to give him a squirt. Um, yeah, I think that's rule number one. I think if this was baseball, you have to wear your batting gloves at all times. Um, and pitchers, I guess, just suffer. I don't know. They're not really athletes. It doesn't matter. Uh, yeah, basketball players all have to stand on stilts, so they're farther away from people who cough. Because they're already pretty tall, but let's make it worse. And for hockey, you gotta keep your teeth in your mouth because that's a problem that y'all have been having. Y'all missing a lot of
Ooh,
teeth.
yeah. Imagine getting coronavirus from like picking up another dude's fucking tooth off the ice.
Oh, you know what? Actually, my big ban would be I would put a sex ban. No sex.
No sex.
Zero sexes.
No sex. No kissing your teammates. That's mandatory.
Jack Eichel has to stop slapping people on the PP. Which I still think is a hilarious sentence. But honestly, though, it's a half a joke and half serious. But like, if you get caught having sex with anybody or having a girl over or get seen at the club in general, I would be like, bitch, no, you're suspended, and I'm talking your pay, and I'm spanking you with the paddle.
And then you got to get squirted in the face by your squirt buddy just to make
Yeah.
sure you're clean.
Yep. Yeah. Make it real weird.
What is it extra punishment if he's caught having a girl in his room and he doesn't have a squirt buddy there?
bro, squirt sesh. I mean, raw dog it, but like squirt afterwards.
The guy pulls out and the squirt buddy's got to squirt the Purell right onto his dick. Immediate.
Yeah, do you want me to rub it in for you, bro?
Oh god, Josh. I gotta take a non sequitur here that I talked about this with my mom.
What?
She was looking at my resume and she's like, "Are you sure you want to have the podcast on there? What if an employer listens to it?" I'm like, "Mom, we don't say anything on the podcast that is, racist or, anything that would look poorly upon myself." Fuck. This is not a great segment for future employers to listen to.
Eh.
You
Ooh,
gotta squirt right on his dick after he
you got
pulls
squirt on
out.
that dick. Do you want to hear the mildly racist thing that happened at work
Do you
yesterday?
think? Wait, hold on. Do you think that would burn if you just got Purell just right on there?
Oh, 100%.
Oh, that would hurt. That would burn.
Yeah, very much so.
Okay, racism in the workplace. Go for it.
All right, so we had this big town hall meeting at my office on Friday, and they said they were gonna. They said we're gonna mix up the food this time. We're gonna have Chinese, and I was like, that's not really mixing it up, but like, okay. Um, and the place that my company gets their catering from is fucking terrible. No one enjoys the food, and yet they keep going there. And so I was talking with my coworkers. I was like, I really wish that they would just go to a restaurant and get their food from a restaurant because restaurants' food is better. So we get there, and it's from the fucking catering company. It's terrible food. Also, mildly racist on the catering company part because it's just like chicken and vegetables with soy sauce on it. Not even
Mhm.
remotely Chinese. It's just food with soy sauce. So already off to a bad start. But anyway, I'm talking to the receptionist at my company because she's the one in charge of like ordering the food. And she was telling me like, yeah, I had suggested to the executive team a local Chinese food spot that I really like and I go to that also does catering, and they said no because they were worried about coronavirus. And I was like, "Are you telling me that the executive team at this company was worried that the Chinese food place had coronavirus because the Chinese?" And the
That's
answer was
real
yes.
bad.
The answer was yes. They were worried that the Chinese food restaurant had coronavirus just because it was Chinese.
That's both so racist and just so ignorant.
I know.
Oh, that's so
I
ignorant.
know. How insane is that?
God, everyone knows the coronavirus has left for Italy now. Get on
I
top
mean,
of it. No
oh,
more Olive Garden people.
it's like they think that just like, oh man, he's Chinese. That means that shit's just in him.
Shit.
Yeah. Oh, bro. Everyone with the last name Zhang just has coronavirus in the DNA. You know, like the fuck's wrong with you?
Ugh.
Obviously not. Like, and why would they be serving food? Do you think the food gets imported from China? Do you think they just got back? Like, oh, it was so I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed.
It's one of those things where being incredibly ignorant and being incredibly racist has a pretty strong correlation coefficient. Um, I'm sure that that does not stop there.
Oh no, I'm very sure it does not. Very sure. Because oh wow. And you know what? It really, really pissed me off because it was racist. And the Chinese food wasn't good. I got deprived a good lunch because of racism.
And that is what we should be taking from this.
That's the real tragedy of the story, is that I had to eat a subpar lunch because of casual racism.
Um, so moment of silence for Josh and having to eat shitty food today. It's something we take seriously here at Juicing the Numbers, and we should do our best to get racism out of our lives so that we could eat the good food we all want.
Yes, get racism out of our lives and out of our kitchens. Um, so you want to talk about do you have anything else coronavirus related?
Um, I really hope that it kind of dies out before the start of football season because on top of that in the CBA, I really would just love not having a lockout this year.
Oh fuck, that's true. Yo, could you imagine if a player gets for baseball gets his service time manipulated because the team is worried that he might have coronavirus?
Chris Bryant is going around licking handrails, trying to see if he could get another lawsuit out of the MLB.
Oh, that would be amazing. He would definitely have to consult his Purell pal for that first, though.
Just Anthony Rizzo just squirting Purell on like handrails just throughout Chicago, trying to keep Chris Bryant healthy.
Rizzo, why are you doing that? Man, Brian can't stop fucking licking these things. And of course, spring training has to be in Florida, the methiest, oldest, coronavirusiest place in the world.
That's just Florida is the petri dish of America.
It really, I have so much more confidence that China's going to get the coronavirus situation figured out before Florida does. Y'all elected Jeb Bush. Please clap.
Oh God.
Also,
I saw George Carlin's bit on the immune system today, and it is both hilarious and disgusting.
I don't recall it.
He was
But I also know
tempered
what it's like when you
in
tell
a river
jokes.
of shit.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, it's really good. Everyone should go listen to some George Carlin tonight.
Ah, that's every night. He's a wonderful, wonderful comedian.
Yeah, rest in peace. Not
Yeah,
like
he's
rest
actually
in
dead,
peace,
though.
Wade Boggs, but like, dude's dead.
Yo, homie fucking bodied. uh yo, George Carlin mad decomposing. Anyway. So Mika Zibanejad scored a lot of goals the other day.
Yeah, he's really good at basketball.
Hockey.
Fuck me up.
It was the bad joke you said you'd
Wow.
stop doing, and you got the sport wrong.
Wow.
So
All right. I'm signing off, guys. I'll talk to you all next week.
Mika Zibanejad, center for the New York Rangers, scored 5 goals last night, or a few days ago, actually, by the release of this, for the New York Rangers against the Washington Capitals, including the overtime winner. In total, the game ended 6-5, Rangers winning. So all 5 of his goals really fucking mattered. And holy shit, that's a lot of goals.
Yeah. I was not able to watch the game. So when I saw that tweet that night, I was just so taken aback. I went and had to check the score and the highlights to see if he actually did it because I didn't believe Twitter.
I was screaming at my TV when he scored the last one. I literally couldn't believe it.
It's insane.
And I watched the whole game. And I literally couldn't fucking believe it. It was insane. It was ridiculous. It was unthinkable. It was, I mean,
inconceivable.
Mika Zibanejad's always been one of those players as a fan of the team for which he plays, that has always been really good to a Rangers fan, but may not have always had the best visibility. And now it's like fucking out there, and it's wild. Like to see him do that kind of shit and have like universal in the hockey world acknowledgement is insane. Real quick, Mika Zibanejad, he has missed 13 games this season, I believe. He's currently played 54 games. Where do you think he stands on the goals leaderboard?
4th.
Close, 5th.
Fuck.
Pasternak and Ovechkin are currently tied with 47. Austin Matthews is 46. That's 3rd. 4th is Leon Draisaitl. He has 43. Apparently, Leon Draisaitl will have himself a tidy ass little year here, by the way, as he currently leads all of NHL with points, 110.
Just came out with his own cologne.
What's it called?
Leon.
Oh, I was hoping it'd be like Dry Spicer or something like that. Anyway,
no, not original. Just literally his first name. That's it.
Mika Zibanejad had 38 goals, and he has played so many fewer games.
Remember when I traded him away to you for Matt Barzal in our Dynasty Hockey League?
Yes, it was a great day.
I was thinking about that the other day. Made me sad.
It made me so happy. Yeah. So fucking 54 games. That's 14 fewer games than David Pasternak has played, and he's only behind him by 9 goals.
Stupid. It's very stupid.
It's 12 fewer games than Alex Ovechkin has.
Is he
It's
better than McDavid though?
I'm here to tell you that, in fact, Mika Zibanejad is better than Wayne Gretzky. It's just
Is he?
it's ridiculous.
How long is he signed with the Rangers for?
Hopefully forever. I don't actually know though.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and I don't feel like doing the Googles, but
That's okay.
yeah. So let's just go ahead and say forever. Like 10,
Just like Henrik.
11. Oh, don't make me sad.
Why? You're happy you can't have that.
Shut the fuck up. So how many times do you think? All right. So what do you think the record is for most goals scored in a game? I will issue the caveat that Hockey Reference only goes back to 1979.
In a NHL game, I'll go with 6.
So I thought there had to at least be 1-6, and no, 5 is actually the record.
Really?
Yeah, and how many times do you think it's happened? 5 goals in one game.
8.
Again, only going back to 1979. So because I'm very sure this has happened in other years. 26.
Wow.
Yeah. So Wayne Gretzky has done it 4 times.
Fucking course he has.
I know. Mario Lemieux has done it 3 times.
Of course he has.
And those are the only 2 names that have done this twice.
Nice. Way to go, Mario.
There are 3 active players who have done it. Marion.
Let me guess.
Oh, well, I already said one of them.
I didn't hear you because I was too focused on saying. I
Cool.
assume it's going to be Ovi.
No, Alex Ovechkin has not done this.
Okay, that takes away my one and only guess.
Well, one of the 3 players.
I do. One of them is Mika Zibanejad. Wow, Mika
Zibanejad. Yeah.
5 goals in a game. Let's say like Evgeny Malkin.
No, he has not done it either.
Shit. Okay. Pavel Datsyuk. I don't know.
Nope.
You wanna tell me?
Oh, you know what? One of them does not count. This must be he never officially retired player. But Marian Gaborik, he technically counts here, but he hasn't played since 2018. So he's fucking
Get
retired.
out of here.
Yeah. So really, I guess the only other active player that's done it is Patrick Laine.
Really?
Did it in 2018 against the Winnipeg. Sorry, not against the Winnipeg Jets. Against the St. Louis Blues.
I straight up just don't remember that like at all.
Clearly it happened while we were both conscious hockey watchers and 0 recollections. All but one of these games ended in the player who accomplished this feat winning the game. Except in 1995, the Winnipeg Jets against the Los Angeles Kings, Alex Zhamnov scored 5 goals. He had where am I looking? He had 0 assists for 5 points, a plus minus of 3. All 5 goals came even strength. Only on 6 shots on goal too, which is nuts. And it ended in a tie.
He scored 5 goals with 6 shots.
Yeah. So all right. So you know what else is unique about Mika? His accomplishment. A plus minus of 0.
What?
Because it was such a back and forth game. Like he was on the ice for every single Washington goal.
Ugh.
So he was on the ice for all 5 of their goals, and he scored all of his obviously he scored his 5 goals, but he wasn't on the ice for the Rangers' 1 goal that they scored without him. So his plus minus is 0. Only plus minus to be 0 for everyone who's ever done this.
That's hilarious.
Right?
Absolutely hilarious. Going back to the one dude who did it back in the 90s and lost.
Got a tie.
I'm sorry?
It was a tie.
Oh, the game ended in a tie?
Yes.
Okay, my apologies. What do you think the locker room was like after that?
If I was Alex Zhamnov, or however the fuck you say his last name properly, furious. I would be furious. I would be so fucking mad.
I don't know if I'd be mad. I would for sure be fucking disappointed, and I would just use that. I feel like me of all people, I'd probably try and, lighten up the mood. Like, hey, I just scored 5 goals and we tied a game. Obviously, the guy's going to be pretty bummed. I'll probably try and crack a few jokes. And you better believe I'm reminding everyone I scored 5 fucking goals tonight and everyone else sucks dick.
So here's how this game went. So the first goal gets scored by the Kings by Wayne Gretzky of all people.
Naturally.
A minute and 24 seconds into the game. So Winnipeg's down 1-0. All right, whatever. You like that's a hockey game. Like that all makes sense in the world. Then Winnipeg scores their first goal from Keith Tkachuk. Fucking seriously? That's hilarious. Sure. Brady's dad, apparently. That's funny.
And Matthew.
They both suck. So 1-1 game. All right. Yep. Still sounds like that hockey. Then Wayne Gretzky decides he is still Wayne Gretzky and scores a second goal. And you go unassisted because it's Wayne Gretzky. And you go, that's right. He's here. 2-1. 11 minutes and 49 seconds in. And then 14 minutes and 1 second in, Alex Zhmanov scores his first goal. So it is now 2-2. The first period comes to a conclusion. Alex Zhmanov, so far, a nice night, 1 goal, but uneventful. And it's not even the leading scorer in the game yet. Still Wayne Gretzky. So then the second period comes into play. And Alex Zhmanov scores his second goal immediately, 58 seconds in. Followed by Rick Tocchet, who scores a goal for the Kings 10 minutes in. So it's straight up been literally back and forth. It's currently 3-3, back-to-back goals by Winnipeg technically, but still. And then Winnipeg comes straight back and scores another goal. Mike Eagles, spelled like the bird, scores a goal 13 minutes and 10 seconds in for Winnipeg. So the game is now, the second period concludes. Winnipeg should now be winning 4-3. And if you go the Winnipeg Jets, you got to be thinking to yourself, all right, we need to play defense, but this is going well, right? Then the third period comes and all hell breaks loose. So Alex Zhmanov scores his third goal of the night, 1 minute and 25 seconds in. So he has now had a hat trick and is king of the world. Winnipeg is now up in the game 5-3. So things look great for Winnipeg. 2 minutes and 39 seconds in, just a mere 1 minute and 14 seconds later, Yannick Perrault scores for the Kings, 5-4. Then 1 minute, not even a minute, 53 seconds later, Rick Tocchet scores another goal. It's his second of the night to make it 5-4 Winnipeg. Now, things are tightening up. Actually, no, sorry, it's 5-5 at this point. My mistake. 5-5. Tie game. Then Alex Zhmanov scores back-to-back goals. He scores at 3:57, which is only 35 seconds after the game got tied by Rick Tocchet to put the Winnipeg Jets up 6-5. And then he scores again about 6 minutes later to put the Winnipeg Jets up 7-5. So that's at 9:27. There's only 10 and a half minutes left of gameplay. You're up 7-5. All you got to do is not fuck it up. And yet, Kevin Brown comes in, scores his second goal of the entire fucking season at 12:27, 7-6, the score. And then Daryl Sider comes in, scores his fourth fucking goal of the season at 16:57. Game ends in a tie. That's it.
What a fucking roller coaster of a game that had to have been.
How many penalties do you think there were?
12. There's no way there was 12, but I'm guessing 12.
11.
No, really?
Yeah. So
I love that.
First one is so stupid. We need to watch this game, by the way.
Oh, of course.
Ty Domi of Winnipeg takes the first penalty for too many men on the ice. 2 minutes. Then the Kings' Matt Johnson gets a 5-minute major for fighting. 7 seconds later, Ty Domi gets a 5-minute major for fighting. And then 2 minutes later, Marty McSorley.
How do I
Marty
know that
McSorley.
name?
That's an amazing game. It sounds like Trace McSorley. I wonder if they're related.
I'm gonna look it up.
Marty McSorley of the Kings takes a 2-minute roughing penalty at 15:35, and then there was another fight where dual majors were given out. Mike Eagles of Winnipeg and Michael Pettit or Michelle Pettit of the Kings both take 5-minute majors for fighting at 19:14. So then that's all in the first period, by the way. Second period comes along. At 10:45, Eric LaCroix takes a goalkeeper interference penalty for 2 minutes. 14:45, Winnipeg's Dave Manson takes a holding penalty. And at 18:11, Winnipeg's Brent Thompson takes an interference penalty. And then the third period, Winnipeg's Keith Tkachuk takes a roughing penalty because that makes sense. The Tkachuks suck. And then the final penalty, handed out at the same time. Coincidental penalties. All this one on Rick Tocchet also takes a 2-minute roughing penalty, also at 5:46. 11 penalties, 14 goals. What a game. A tie. What a game.
Imagine being there.
Dude, we have to watch this. Is this on YouTube? Because we need to watch this.
I'm sure it is. So I looked up Marty McSorley. Played for 17 seasons. Played 2 positions, right wing and defense, and was involved in the Los Angeles Kings trade when they got Wayne Gretzky.
Oh, wow.
Wayne Gretzky valued him so much he wanted him included in the trade.
Really?
Yeah. He's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, both 86, 87, 87, 88 with Edmonton, and was the 1990-1991 NHL Plus Minus Award winner.
Fucking okay.
Yeah.
All right. Guy. I'm just enraptured with this game. So the leading point scorer on the Winnipeg Jets for this game was Alex Romanov with 5 points. And then there were 2 players that had 4. Dallas Drake had 4, and Igor Korolev had 4. Who do you think was the lead point getter on the Kings, and with how many points?
Wayne Gretzky with 5 assists.
No, it was a fucking 7-way tie with everyone having 2 points.
Really?
Yeah. So like the Kings defense got torn apart by Alex Romanov, and then Dallas Drake and Igor Korolev, probably I guess all same. I would guess they're all line mates, because they probably got those assists on Alex Romanov's goals. Actually, let me just check. It's all written right here. Dallas Drake assisted on, all of his assists were on Alex Romanov, and Igor Korolev. Yeah, that's all the same line. But I guess the Jets just couldn't stop literally anyone on the Kings, which is a sad statement. Nikolai Khabibulin of the Winnipeg Jets, 7 goals allowed on 41 save attempts for only 34 saves for an .829 save percent, 65 minutes of time on ice. So there was a 5-minute overtime period. 2 different goalies made appearances in this game for the Kings. Kelly Hrudey, who had allowed 5 goals on 21 shot attempts, only 16 saves for a .762 save percent. He spent 41 minutes and 25 seconds on the ice before they pulled him for Grant Fuhr, who got the tie decision in this game. He allowed 2 goals on 9 shot attempts for a .778 save percent, which is no better, with 23 minutes and 35 seconds on the ice.
Okay, so when are we going to watch this game?
Dude, I want to watch this game. This sounds like a fucking roller coaster.
I know. If only we were around for like the scoring heights of the NHL.
Yeah, right?
That would have been real fun to watch. That's probably what baseball's like now, or football.
It's so funny because like looking at the other scores that happened on this day, which is April 1st, 1995. Wow, April Fool's Day, Corwin. None of this is real. they're so tame. Like that day, the Rangers beat the Bruins 3-2. Detroit beat Dallas 3-2. Vancouver beat Edmonton 5-1. The Devils beat Montreal 4-1. Buffalo beat the Islanders 5-1, and Pittsburgh beat the Flyers 3-2. And so, like, those are all like relatively normal hockey scores. And then this game 7-7 overtime and a tie with just like a wild box score.
What was who won the Stanley Cup that year?
Ooh, 95. It's the 90s, so I'm going to say Detroit. I don't know. I don't know who won the 1995 Stanley Cup. I'm going to type it into Google. 1995 Stanley Cup, and tell me who won, Google. The Devils.
The Devils.
Oh, fucking dub. Yeah, because they won right after us in 19. Yeah, us, because I was on 1994 Rangers team.
Yeah, you're right. That Detroit Red Wings team back in the day, back in those 90s, man. Really good.
Yeah, well, 25 straight years of playoff appearances.
That's nothing.
Like, oh man, I can't even imagine that. Even the Patriots didn't do that. Even the Yankees have never done that. Well, not never, but not in the modern era.
Steve Yzerman.
Stevie Y, baby. Yeah, dude, 25 straight years of playoff appearances. Not just a winning record, playoff appearance. Like the Yankees, it's a big deal that they have 25 straight years of winning record. And like, because that's a challenge. Like, that's a huge accomplishment. The Red Wings had 25 straight years of playoff appearances. Nuts.
I feel like
And now
God,
they're terrible.
there was some team that just broke that streak recently, and I'm completely blanking on who it was.
In sports or like in hockey? 'Cause I don't
In
think in hockey.
sports, I don't think it was hockey either.
Syracuse
No,
for basketball? I don't know. They've, I don't
I
know.
don't know. We could spend all day trying to think about it.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
No.
Do you have anything else to say on this game?
No, not really.
One last thing, and then we can wrap up, I guess. Apparently this is basketball topic. Ooh, basketball. Draymond Green said that Charles Barkley isn't allowed to talk to him because Charles Barkley doesn't have any rings. Did you see this?
No, but having watched that show and definitely followed along with the antics, I 100% believe that. Inside
Draymond
the NBA
Green.
is one of the best shows on TV.
Draymond Green is saying that Charles Barkley, like a very, very good of a basketball player, significantly better than Draymond Green, isn't allowed to talk to him because hashtag no rings. And I saw someone on Twitter compare that to, he said, imagine if Trent Dilfer came out and said Dan Marino couldn't criticize his play because he doesn't have any Super Bowl rings.
That is both hilariously accurate and just fucking funny.
Dude, I don't get who the fuck Draymond Green thinks he fucking is. He's a dirtbag and no one likes you.
He's
Fucking
just
get
the
out of
epitome
here.
of why everyone hates that Golden State team from the past couple years.
No, it's true as shit. He represented every terrible thing about them.
Just go back to kicking dudes in the dick.
He loved doing that shit. He loved kicking dudes in the dick. Why was he doing that all the time?
Because he's a piece of shit.
He is. Real quick, are you aware of Charles Barkley's nicknames?
I know
May,
he goes by Chuck. That's
may I
about
read
it.
them to you?
Yes, please.
All right. Charles Wade Barkley goes
Mm-hmm.
by Sir Charles. The round mound of rebound.
That's phenomenal.
The Chuckster. The Chuck Wagon. Bread Truck. Boyd Gorge. the incredible bulk, the Prince of Pizza, the Leaning Tower of Pizza.
Oh my god, those are phenomenal. I want to know like how popular those actually were.
I want to know how much pizza Charles Barkley was eating that he earned 4 pizza-related nicknames. The Prince of Pizza, the Incredible Bulk, the Leaning Tower of Pizza, Bread Truck, 5, and Boy Gorge. How much pizza was he eating that this became a thing?
I have to imagine he was quite fat. I mean, there's a reason him and Shaq get into it about how much, each other eats.
Ah, man, I guess. His listed play weight was 6'6", 252 pounds. That's a big guy.
It's not crazy, but
That's
that's
not crazy big. No,
slim. Brandon
That is-
Ingram's
that-
like 6'9", 190.
that's 1 inch and 30 pounds lighter than one Aaron. Just saying.
Yeah. I wish we got to see Aaron Judge play in the NBA.
I wish we got to see Aaron Judge play.
Touche.
Yeah, makes me sad and want to die. Want to die.
At least you got that great starting 5.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see Luis Severino pitch. James Paxton's going to be great. Giancarlo Stanton's finally healthy. What? Huh? I'm being informed that the Yankees all have coronavirus. And they're bringing back bloodletting, which is an interesting choice.
It's actually pretty funny to think that if the entirety of like every MLB player got coronavirus, the Yankees might actually be healthier on average than the rest of the MLB.
Yo, imagine if teams started engaging in chemical warfare. imagine the
that happened
Astros.
with like the like NFL playoffs a couple 2 years ago.
Ooh, I don't think I know this.
Yeah, like something about the Patriots like
Oh, of
infect
course.
the other team with the flu.
Yo, you don't even have to convince me very long. I already.
I'm gonna look this up because I gotta know the answer to this.
Imagine you hire a pitcher just to get coronavirus and then start spitting on all the baseballs. Just send him into the humidor where they keep all the balls and go, all right, buddy. Time for you to start pooping on baseballs. You poop on these ones, you gotta cough on those. Just smear it around. It'll look like dirt. Have a blast.
I don't want to respond to those comments.
Potential hirers of Corwin Heller know that he loves playing with shit. If you hire Corwin Heller, he's going to sit in your bathroom on Twitter playing with poop.
Oh, man. Like half of that statement's true.
Playing with poop.
At my desk.
Poop playing motherfucker at my desk. Under the desk. Do you have it? Because otherwise I'm going to end the show.
End the show, please.
I was just sitting here talking about shit. Literally. All right. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, you can do so at JuicingPod. If you want to hit us up via email, you can do so at juicethenumbers@gmail.com. And until Thursday, y'all have a good one.
Bye.